Good morning. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Megan Moore. And on behalf of the Center for Functional Nutrition, I would like to welcome you to the Sunday Morning Coffee House. It's always a delight to be here with you, and I look forward to hearing from Beth this morning. So Brian, I'll hand the coffee house over to you.
Thank you, Megan, and welcome everyone to our Sunday Morning Coffee House. This is an awesome opportunity for us all to connect, create, and collaborate together to be a force for good in the world. And what we do as a live group here does impact far, far beyond what we do together this morning. So I'm very excited to introduce a new friend and mentor and guide extraordinaire. Beth Herndobler is one of those people that you meet that you never ever forget, and she's been an incredible friend and a personal guide for me in my own life, and I have experienced her great gifts firsthand. So Beth has many modalities and qualities and gifts. She was actually a trial attorney, I believe, for most of her career. And I think she'll tell her story, but I think she had a sense that there may be more at stake for her in her life. And I think somewhere between 10 or 15 years ago, she really allowed those gifts to start coming into her world. She is an energy healer, an intuitive spiritual counselor, and many, many other things. And I'm so excited that she's here with us today. So for those that don't know you, Beth, maybe give us a little bit about who you are and how you've come to be in our coffee house today.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Brian. That really touched my heart to hear you speak of me in those high, delightful, loving terms. As I was saying to you earlier when we were talking, everything you do comes from love, comes from your heart, and there's just this radiating purity of cosmic wholeness and healing. So thank you for letting me be your friend. So I was pondering before this, not knowing, this is a new audience for me. Pat is one of my students and actually about to begin the advanced level of the masterclass. But otherwise, I'm thinking like, if people have heard my story, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it's interesting and inspiring. So what aspect of myself do I want to reveal here on this very early Sunday morning coffee house? I know it's not so very early where you are, but having my face look halfway presentable at 7:30 in the morning is really early for me on a Sunday. And so I'm going to be a little freer with my story. I mean, yes, I was a trial lawyer for 27. Well, I was a lawyer for 27 years, most of it as a trial lawyer. And I decided that that was what I was going to be when I was 9. I had the flu. Note to self, don't make flu-based decisions. That's actually just a joke because I was clearly meant to be a lawyer, and saw a show that I wouldn't normally see because I was up late called Judge for the Defense. I had wanted to be an actor. Don't know why. There was no frame of that in my world, and I somehow knew. And that's where I could have gotten the hint, intuitively. I was pondering, like, how do you know that you're going to have a day job if you're an actor? But I knew. I don't know why I knew that. Obviously, it was coming from somewhere, but not my experience in this life. And so when I saw this trial attorney with a jury, I was like, wow, the audience is small. They can't clap, but they can't leave. That's for me. And only when I was in my freshman year of law school did I realize I was mostly going to be in an office wearing a suit. It was the 80s, those bow tie, bolero bow ties women were wearing back then. And I said to a law clerk friend of mine, I'm never going to wear that. She looked at me and said, what do you think you're going to wear? And it all cascaded over me that, what have I done? And so several things happened. The first thing was, I was too afraid of what was then in the 80s, $10,000 worth of debt for that freshman year. I had no vision for what else I could do. I loved history. But in my book, that was something I just did to get to law school. I still love history. I could have been a bunch of different things, but my vision was narrow because I had decided this is what I'm going to do. And so through the course of being a lawyer, that decision, that was what was coming undone, to expose what I'm absolutely passionate about justice and service, but you are not going to find justice in the justice system. It's just not what it's set up for. It's all about money and power. And I knew as I was going along, the things that I was witnessing lawyers do for the sake of money and power was not for me. And I learned a lot, but it wasn't until last week when I had a reading with a woman I get readings from and have been for 20 years. And it came up in the reading that the reason I needed to be a lawyer, which is everywhere in all my charts, astrological and otherwise, was because I needed to learn about money and power so I no longer abused it as I had done in some past lives. And I just had the biggest wow over that. I mean, I had already had the experience of seeing that the scales of justice appear everywhere in my astrological chart and my numerological and my human design justice and all this stuff is there. And so my point in sharing this with everyone here is, where are you misinterpreting what you're being called to do because you're not willing to just really broaden your vision and your view and trust what's coming for you? It took me till 53 when I was literally killing myself with food and alcohol, overweight, miserable, just horribly unhappy, to jump off a cliff, because everything in my life was always real structured and planned. I was very left brain, very mental mind, masculine. I had a plan. I was sticking to that plan. And by God, you better get out of my way, because if you're not helping me, I'm going right over you. It was not easy being a single mom in the 80s in law school. There were no other, and I was a teen mother to boot. I just realized that about 5 years ago. You can't think about these things when you're doing it. You just gotta go. I got pregnant when I was 18. This is not in the plan, but we will adapt. So we just kind of rolled her in and kept on going. And then one of my grandsons said about 6 months ago, "So what was it like to be a teen mom?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" "Mommy says you were a teen mom." I was. So this is my point. It's like we get foggy up here because of food and alcohol and bad water and limiting thoughts and our inability to see ourselves in the more expanded version of who we are as divine sovereign beings of love, light, and service. So I come to where I wake up on the couch, passed up. It was a Wednesday or third, passed up. Yes, it was passed up. Yes, not a Freudian slip. I had passed out on the couch after, lots of drinking in law. There's a lot of frustration and stress. And so that's the way they choose to cope. It would be much better to take a walk or go earthing or something, but no, we choose to drink. And then I had come home and kept drinking and cried myself to sleep on the couch and passed out so that I could be passed up, because what I heard when I woke up very confused, where am I? What's happening? What day is it? I heard a voice that said, "You will not survive if you continue to live like this." And so that was when I realized I've got to change and change everything. And I had always said I was going to live in California. Again, I was 53. Both my daughters and my grandsons lived in California. My daughter had been there for probably 12, 13 years. And it hit me. How come everybody else got there but me? So I set about, nothing went my way, nothing. That was when when this started. The 2008 real estate market crash had just begun. And so I thought, well, I'll sell my condo and that'll stake me. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to be, again, the left brain was worrying. Here's the plan. Here, we're going to show you how to do this. You're going to be a high-end personal assistant. I'm like, yes, I'll meet famous people. It'll be fun. I'll be great. It's like being a fancy paid wife and a lawyer. No one will resist. So I had a friend who was a high-end I had no idea, by the way, what it means to be a personal assistant, that you're in some measure, slave is probably the wrong word, but your time is not, you're on 24/7. If you're high end, that's your world. You're, serving that person. So it really wouldn't have been for me unless I got some young jock that I could really say, you will not call me at 3 o'clock in the morning to make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You need to learn. I'm going to empower you. Other than that person, I couldn't imagine it would have gone well. And my friend, who was very high end, put me in touch with a boutique headhunter out here who said, why do you want to come to California? Now's not the time. You have to be passionate. I said, well, my grandsons, my kids. Okay, so you're passionate. But I got to tell you something. People who used to have personal assistants out here are now personal assistants. I've sold 2 of my 4 houses. Everything is crap. I can't place you. You're a career transplant. No one is going to pay me $25,000. That was another you don't even know what you're trying to get into here, because I had no idea that the placement fee would be 25 grand. It kind of started to come in at that moment. The people that are telling me, do you really think, my daughter being the main one, because she had designs in mind for her twins who were 3 years old at the time. She said, do you really want to do that? After how hard you've worked in your life, you want to go be somebody else's, assistant and never have any time to your own. And when I heard that price tag, 25 grand, I'm like, yeah, she's right. No one's going to pay 25 grand to tell me I can go home at 5 o'clock. They're not, so long story short, he said, come out here and hit Craigslist. And that was like, wah, wah, Craigslist. I'm 53. The ego pops up. I'm a lawyer. That was very confusing. So it was that moment that I passed up again and heard the call to surrender and trust and allow. Just get there. We'll make it work. I kept one foot in front of the other. I have never been so scared in my life. I would start trembling just at nothing. When it came time to give my notice at my job, my friend literally had to push me out the door to walk down the hall because I was terrified. I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but remember, when we change the course of our life in alignment with our higher calling, that takes great trust and surrender. It really did feel like I was jumping off a cliff. So that's what that fear was about. Because when I got in his office and he said, oh, well, where are you going? California. Oh, I want to move to California. And all of a sudden the conversation, as always, was about him, not about what I came in there for. So step by step, I began to prepare. My daughter called me. She had gotten a promotion. Their nanny wasn't working out. Do you want to be come and be the boy's nanny? I did. It ended up I was actually their personal assistant, which is why I really know you're always on, and they're not always nice, even if they're your family. If you're working for them, you get what you see that image of them as an employer, not as whoever they are. But the most important part of that piece of the journey was that in taking care of 2 little 3-year-old boys, I was never a stay-at-home mom. I have girls, not boys. They're 13 years apart. So 2 of them together. It was like herding feral cats. And yet they taught me everything I needed to know about how to get from there, that trying to figure it out in the left brain, to here where I'm like, what do you want me to do in preparation for this? Because this is a very loose format, more so than other shows that I've done. I said, well, what's the best way for me to prepare besides meditate? And I went out and earthed. If you even now talk to a lawyer and said, hang on, before we hit the courtroom, I just need to go outside for a minute, put my feet on the earth, they would be like, what? And it feels so good and so whole to be in a community where taking care of yourself and serving others and helping others to uplift to what more is possible for them is the whole ball of wax. That's what we're here for. All of us are here to shine our light brightly, to learn what we need to learn, to remember what we forgot, because I just did a monthly energy healing call. Pat was there yesterday, and we reunited everyone on that journey with their 4-year-old inner child. And why 4? Because they know everything. Twice, my grandson and Pat told me after the call that her son, both of them at the age of 4, said, I know everything. If I could stay a kid, I would stay age 4 because I know everything. And that would be a topic for a whole nother day. But at the age of 5, the brain shifts, it develops, and school comes in, and all the information, the wisdom, the intuition, the connection to the divine, to our gifts and to our inner spirit begins to start getting squished, and we forget. And then as adults, hopefully I'm seeing it more and more. I'm getting more and more clients who are in their 20s, where for the first many years of my business, everybody was close to my age, maybe 40-ish. You're a baby, Brian. That's why I just love you so much, because you're all in when it's so early. But we do forget. We have all the answers, but we have to get out of our head and get into our heart and come from love. And then we will find what more is possible and what more we are here to be, do, have, and create. You have to be willing to do the work, especially I believe Russell would definitely. I know, Megan, all of you would agree. You've got to clean up your diet and your water and start moving, because this beautiful body temple is as sentient as any other aspect of you. If you want to know the truth about how you're doing, listen to your body. It will tell you. And all those aches and pains and indigestion and whatever you may be experiencing, at the same time as they may very well have a physical root and a physical cause, they also have an emotional, energetic cause and component that needs to be cleared and healed. So you're not carrying that, not carrying your pain and trauma. And that's where the energy work and energy healing comes in. So if you have some questions or anything you'd like to hear more of, we can do that. But that feels like a pretty good segue into doing a little process.
Yeah, thank you so much, Beth. So good to get to know you more. I love it. And I do want to give a shout out to Pat Hanbury, who is an absolute dear friend who brought you into our world, Beth. Thank you so much, Pat. And yeah, that was, we've had many meetings, and every time I learned something new, and I just want to honor you for that. And I'm very excited. I know you're going to take us on a journey of some sort. So the floor is yours. I'm excited to participate.
Awesome. Okay, so I would recommend that everyone turn their camera off so you're not looking. You want to look in. You do not want to look out on this portion of the work that we're going to do. So close your eyes and take a couple deep, easy breaths. Bring your attention into your third eye, that place between your eyebrows, just inside of your head, getting comfy and cozy with the energy, that beautiful violet energy of your third eye. Taking a moment to direct your left and your right brains to balance in harmony so that the right brain leads and the left brain serves. Let your divine intuition and your connection with the universe be what calls you, and then enlist the left brain, that beautiful mental mind, into service. And now drop your attention down to your throat chakra and into your heart space, imagining that you are standing fully within the beautiful emerald green energy of your heart. Bring your attention to the very center of that, and we're going to ground into the earth. Imagine a stout gold grounding cord, a few inches, maybe a handprint wider than your body. You're going to send that down from the center of your heart, deep into the center of the earth, where there is a golden grace light ball. See it, feel it, sense it, or just make it up. Lock your grounding cord into that gold ball of light. Really sink it in. Feel the nourishing, grounding, earthing energy of our Pachamama, and then draw that grace light back up your grounding cord. Bring it all the way back up so that it comes into the heart space and mixes with your heart energy. Now, from that same centered place, you're going to extend a silvery white light up. We're going to connect to your divinity. So send that silvery white light up through your throat, your third eye, out your crown, way high up into the furthest reaches of the galaxy, where you will see, sense, feel, or just imagine that there's a divine star point with your name on it. You're going to lasso that star point. Wrap your white light around several times so that you're securely connected to that divinity that is the truth and light and love of you. Wonderful. Now run that star power back down. See it re-enter your crown and flow it back to your heart space where it meets the gold grounding light from below. Now turn your attention to the convergence point where the two lights meet. And you're going to expand them out into a column of energy that runs from that grounding point at the center of the earth all the way up to your star. Let the gold and the silvery white mix and merge and swirl and twirl in any way that that energy sees fit as it brings you into a more fuller expression of vertical stability. Now return your attention to your heart space and imagine that you have trapdoors on the sides of your heart space. So running from under your armpit to just about the middle of your rib cage. Open those trapdoors and allow the emerald green energy and frequency of your heart to extend out left and right. Take a deep, easy breath in, drawing in all this energy that we've called in. As you notice, you are now perfectly balanced in a state of complete synchronicity, vertically and horizontally centered, grounded, and expanded. Return your attention to your heart space, and we're going to take a quick trip into the infinite field of all that is, the meadow, as I fondly refer to it. Further into your heart, you will see, sense, feel, or just imagine there's a portal. It might appear as a pinpoint of light or an opening. I want you to pass through that. It's the tiny space of the heart. Pass through that into your ascended high heart, into the infinite field of all that is, the meadow. And there before you in the meadow, just take a look about. Allow yourself to see or to feel, to know, to sense the vibration and frequency, the energy. Who's here? Do you see the trees and the flowers, the mountain, the waterfall, the beach beyond, the little house off to the side, the forest? Maybe some animals are coming to greet you. Notice, trust, and allow whatever is occurring for you, whether it's what I'm saying or not. There in the very center of this beautiful meadow is a white luminescent circular clearing. Walk over to that clearing and stand in the middle. Allow the energy from the white luminosity to flow up through your feet and your toes and to fill in your body all the way up to your crown, and then let it flow out of your crown and cascade down over you like a waterfall. We're creating a circular energy flow to activate and enliven all of your energy centers, all of your chakras, your meridians, your endpoints, even the telomeres at the end of your nerves. We're clearing out in the brain the neural pathways that are stuck and filled with miscreated, limiting ideas, beliefs, and patterns that don't match this divine white luminosity. Feel this light healing, cleansing, restoring, recalibrating all of your energy systems as well as your neural pathways. Take a deep breath in and hold it for a moment as you ponder, what do I want to set my default neural pathway to? Exhale out. Do you want to set your neural pathway to flow at the level of love, of peace, of prosperity, of abundance, of ease, of grace, of calling in the right and perfect partner or beloved, of calling in the right and perfect new opportunity, perhaps radiant, vibrant health. This is your guaranteed to win if you play gift. Just take a couple easy breaths. What do I want to set my neural default pathway to? This is where you want to go every time the world or the mind chatter takes you off center. Your default pathway will be what you will come back to. For me, for right now, today, I am setting it to love. Make your choice as the white frequency is now flowing into that neural pathway. Keep breathing. Trust. You are worthy. Your choice is well heard and will be fulfilled in divine, right, and perfect timing. Breathe into your choice, that higher choice you've made. And now feel entering in through your crown is a sacred 8 infinity symbol. It's being loaded from above. It is flowing the healing flame, the violet healing flame of Saint Germain. Allow it to come down into you so that the top remains around the brain, the crossover part is in your heart, and the bottom loop is in your gut. We're doing this to connect your 3 brains in right and perfect higher consciousness, your head brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain. That infinity healing symbol begins to shimmer and rotate, flowing that violet flame in, through, and as you, healing any opposition to this divine collaboration between your 3 brains, any resistance, any sticky, sludgy, calcified little dust bunnies of crud are being melted off by the violet flame. Allow it to move and flow in whatever way it's doing. You are the captain of your ship. You are the master of your journey in this life. Dear child, you do not need to be afraid. You are more than capable, more than ready, and we are here to support you in your every step forward into living your life on purpose. The time is now. This is the place, and you are one. Together, we will do this. Breathe those words in from your higher self. Just take a moment to let all this work, this gentle and yet powerful and profound work, to reset you, to flow at the level of your higher choice for the experience you wish to have in this day, this week, this life, this month. And feel into, place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Just feel into the power of that sacred 8 geometric figure that has been uploaded to you to assist you in being present to yourself and to your higher calling, to accessing your connection between the universe and your hearts, so that you may move forward into what more is possible, into what fully living your life on purpose out loud with great confidence and fun feels like. And then just let your hands go. Step out of the circle and walk back towards the tiny space, that portal. Take a moment before you pass through it to turn around and look back at the meadow, noticing everything that's happened here today, knowing that you can return to this meadow at any time for a deepening of this experience, remembering that your neural pathway has been defaulted to your higher choice. So at any moment along the way in this day where something kind of starts to take you out, tune into that choice you made. Take a breath and allow yourself to reset. So when you're ready, pass through that tiny space of the heart back to your heart space. Take a deep breath in to settle and integrate the work we've done. Turn your attention to the outside of your auric field, that energetic field that supports you, and imagine pouring liquid platinum all over it, that most impervious of natural substances, to shield your aura. And then stud it with diamond mirror tiles, turning yourself into a disco ball. How fun is that? And now we say, Mother, Father, God, source of all that is, all of our collective guides, angels, guardian angels, masters, ascended masters, wise one team, and our higher selves who have been here today to be present in this energetic shifting, activating, and up-leveling. For this we give great thanks, extend much love, and so it is. So as you're ready, you can open your eyes. Take a look about the room, maybe take a sip of your drink, whatever it is, water, coffee, juice, tea, and notice what you notice about what's come in or what's left, what's shifted or changed. Sometimes when we do energy work, the light feels like it's shifted. The air might feel different. You might smell different things. You might not really notice anything. It doesn't matter. The very act of the noticing is what brings you back into presence and all the work. Nice eyes, Brian. And so I just have to say, it takes time, but when you surrender and trust, the minute I said, close your eyes, before that, I had no idea what we were going to do. I just trusted. I cannot at this moment, because I wasn't paying attention, nor did I care to figure it out, because I've surrendered. I don't know who beyond our higher selves was present or guiding. Some of you may have had the experience of seeing or sensing divine beings there. Pat probably saw some dragons. So that's the point. Did you? Maybe. The point of the work is it's collectively, when we come together in a group like this, we create a morphogenetic field, a magnetic field of energy. And there's a synergy and an energy that comes out of that. And yet within that, each one of us is as individual as a snowflake. So for you, Brian, not to put you on the spot, but was your experience tracking what I was saying, or was it different? And if so, in what ways?
It was beautifully guided, and also totally surrendered to what was and what is.
Perfect.
So it was just, yeah, it was just, my journey has been really, like with this type of work, it started very much, well, I have to be perfect with the guide, and I have to see what they're saying, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. And it was so distracting and very difficult. And it's been a process of practice and surrender. And yeah, so you were a guide and an opening, and it was beautiful and perfect.
Wonderful. That's a beautiful expression. Thank you, Ronald. I just saw your chat. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Yeah, and Beth, that was really, I really have an appreciation for words, probably because my dad's Russell Mariani, and this word extraordinary, I would love everyone to like look that word up. Just look it up in the dictionary, because if you really understand what that word means and you take on that you're extraordinary, it is an absolute game changer, because all of you are extraordinary. Everyone is extraordinary. And Beth, I just thank you so much for giving us a place and a pathway to see that and feel it and own it. And I truly honor you. Thank you. So if anyone would love to share a comment or a question with Beth, you know the drill, start waving at me. Russell.
Thanks, Brian. And thank you, Beth. I experienced many things. When I opened my eyes and started checking out my room, there was a sense of calm and clarity, and the energy was pure, clear, gentle, vibrant. It was like the whole room had changed. One of the things I saw when you guided us through was the very first time I meditated was in like 1974 in a little cabin in New Hampshire with a Marist brother. There was a candle, and he was just taking me and two other guys, I think we were all 20 years old, through this guided meditation. And I've done all kinds of interesting things over the years. But today, what I appreciated most of what you shared was going to this meadow. And it's like, that was like when you said those words, go to this meadow, everything changed, like radically, completely. And I was in this beautiful sun-filled meadow and stayed there the whole time, everything that happened after those few words. So that was, anyway, it just connected me to the earth. Everything else was kind of cosmic and interesting, but the meadow really grounded me. That's all I wanted.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You journey well, Russell. We should do a full journey sometime. But those can be really powerful when you're doing it one-on-one. Because some people are not comfortable with what you just described, with going there and wherever there is, in this case, to the meadow, you're going into the quantum field. And if you feel comfortable there and in the way you said, and then that was all it was, I was there, that was it. That shows me that you're solid enough and ready enough that if I were to be working with you one-on-one and I say, all right, now from the center of this meadow, we're going to pass up. I love that word that came through earlier. We're going to pass up and go somewhere else. So if you ever want to have that experience, just reach out, because I think it would be really beautiful to watch.
Sure, be happy to do that.
Thank you. Great comments. Yeah, the meadow, just really quickly, this is why I love art and music. And there's a movie called Gladiator, and that director's interpretation of afterlife or what happens next is a meadow. And it's one of those scenes with the right music, and it was what I was imagining. It was just so beautiful. Anyone else with a question or comment? Yeah, Pat, please.
I always have comments, especially if it has to do with Beth. I've been working with Beth, I don't know how long, 3 years at least.
Something like that.
Yeah, and as Beth likes to mention occasionally, she said it was really funny because I would be like, okay, what is this? I had my scientific masculine mental mind going for this and going, this is weird, but okay. And so I finally trusted and surrendered, and all these other changes, because that was the first piece of my puzzle on my healing journey, and then learning how to eat properly for my body, and being reconnected with Russell, and that's all of these things happened in perfect timing. That was first. So she's been a catalyst for me, and everyone else who's added on to that has helped me so much. So yeah, I really appreciate Beth as a friend. She's just, part of my world, and will be forevermore.
Absolutely. So there's one more piece of your journey, Pat, that I would be remiss as your guide. You must honor yourself, because you're the one who's doing the work. Yes, you may have had this, and I know Russell has been very, Russell's basically your general practitioner, sort of, so to speak, even though he's not a doctor. But you're the one who's making the choices. You're the one who's saying, I want to see what life is like on the other side of this pain I'm wearing and holding and feeling. And you have been willing to do that work. So add yourself at the top of that list.
Give myself a pat on the back.
I love I knew that's what you were doing. And I want to thank you, Irene. Irene said it tickled her to be a disco ball. Pat, even though she had trouble in the beginning getting that left brain to cool out and allow the journey, it was not very long before she started telling me, I saw dragons. And I'm like, what? I've never seen a dragon. You saw a dragon? I mean, I don't think I acted that way with you. I held the space. I'm the teacher. I'm the guy. But it was inside. I was like, holy mackerel, this lady sees dragons. And this from somebody who's like, yeah, I don't know. I can't really. I don't have anything. I'm just trying to blah, blah, blah. And she has the most remarkable gifts and the most remarkable insight and the most expanded knowledge of the stars in the heavens. And you're gaining a lot of confidence in yourself, and that is a beautiful thing to see. Trust and allow, surrender. All will be well. Beautiful.
Thank you, Cindy, for your beautiful message in the chat. Thank you for being here. I loved your words. Anyone else with a question or comment? Carol Montgomery.
Am I unmuted? Yes, I think I am. Well, Brian, you know about this, and several other people on this call know Jana. So I recently had a regression session, which I'd never really been particularly interested in having. So she took me back to this amazing place, which turned out to be source energy. I mean, I went straight back to source energy. And this is where I can go easily now. In fact, when I put my Fire Stick on and I go to PBS, there's this beautiful blue screen. I go straight back to source energy every time I'm watching PBS on the Fire Stick. So it's so lovely to be able to go back there. I guess that's my meadow. I mean, I love meadows, but I went back further. So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go on, you go.
As long, wherever you go, that's the point is there you are, and trust it, because so let me start from a different angle. When you want to hear and have a conversation with the divine, whether it's source, God, your higher self, angels, doesn't matter. You have to be willing to hear it in a different way, because they don't have mouths and ears. Yes, they can communicate in words. For me, that previously only happened when they were trying to save my life. You know, like you can't keep you're not going to survive if you keep doing this, but it can come in any way. So too, that's an example of what you're experiencing. Out there, it's all one. When you go out there, you are one with all that is. When we're down here on the earth, we're individuated. If you think of it as the ocean is the ocean, it isn't a lot of drops of water. It's the ocean. That's everything out there. When we cross over and are in between bodies, that's where what it is like to be there. When we come down here, it's all individuated. That ocean is now all the little drops around. We're still all connected, but we're all individuated. And that experience of being in the body is what allows you to go to something, to a place that is the same as the meadow, even if it doesn't look like that and you don't call it that. And what you're doing, Carol, in trusting that is going to take you even farther. And I will say this, when you said Fire Stick, it took me a minute. It was sort of like lining up to catch it, because what came through was you having a Fire Stick kind of wand, and you were in a beautiful cloak and you were out. It was under the full moon. It was at night and you were dancing and doing something with your Fire Stick. So I would encourage you to tune into your wizard aspect of you.
Yep.
Because it's really wanting to come into full bloom. So if you don't have a cape and a wand, get one.
I do.
He does.
Pat and I you have one already? All right, now you just got to do some more ceremonies, some more rituals. Actually, in all seriousness, the energy of what is coming through around you is that you're not only here to heal yourself and other people, but you are definitely a very strong earth healer. So get on that even more focused.
What's the name of your business, Carol?
Green Village Green.
Green Village Green?
Perfect.
You got it, girl. You got it.
And be sure,
like
this
that.
is for anyone who wants to work with the earth, because the earth needs all of our support. It's very excellent way to ground when you're doing earth work is the way we did it was we went up and down or down and up. If you imagine pulling up the energy of the earth around you like a cocoon and the heavens down around your feet, so you're double cocooned, and then do your earth work, whatever that is, it's much more supportive, and you'll find yourself not as tired down the road. So carry on, Carol. That's awesome. So great to connect with you.
I am gobsmacked.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Kim.
That was a pretty extraordinary moment caught through Zoom technology. That was wild. Janet Edkins, I see you.
Hi all. Beth, thank you.
You're so welcome.
I didn't expect to feel validated. I have a very vivid visualization, meditation. I'm very visual in all the things I do, and my internal heart space is a big green temple, and the portal at the back goes out into what I describe as the Elysian fields. And you called it a meadow, and there's a mound which is clear, which is silver in the outside. I mean, what you said is what I see and what I've been seeing for a long time. So although I wasn't aware that I wanted affirmation or validation, you just gave it me.
It's nice, isn't it, to have that? It's comforting. It builds confidence when you get the validation.
Yeah. Or I guess I wasn't feeling that. I can hear it now. What I was feeling at the time was very supported and loved. I don't see dragons plural. I have one dragon that I call my dragon. I'm sure she's not, but I call her my dragon. I think what I also see is my higher self when I'm there, and feel enfolded and loved by that. All aspects of me, including the 4-year-old.
Nice.
I have multiple little aspects of me that I've had to bring in over time to, comfort and support that got left somewhere, whatever. So it was delightful. And before I turned my camera back on, I wiped my eyes because I was blubbering, which is, but it was good. It was a good one.
That's good. Yeah.
It wasn't, grief. It was love and connection. And Carol, I have to say, I've always seen you as a druid priestess. So,
yep.
That again, validation. Yeah. She is.
And I see you as there is such a Nordic Viking energy of just the right sort. And with the background that you have, it is alternately appears to me as like a cape angel wing type thing cascading down, and then these powerful horns of power that are coming right out of your the back in between your heart chakra and your throat. So there is a call for you to speak truth to the love that you feel, that surge that you felt when the tears were coming. It has a wider expression that people are waiting to hear. So let go of any low ideation, that's not for me, I can't do that, and just get on with getting out there and spreading the heart word that you are here, knowing I am a Viking goddess of infinite power. And if you could take that picture, I mean, it's almost like witchy, like in Malevolent. I didn't see that movie, but you know, they have the things that come up, the big, I don't know what, a cowl or something. It's almost that. And as I've been watching you through the whole show, it was like, what am I seeing here energetically? And that's what it is. It's like you have the power and the truth of the woman in that Viking team who says, you've got it all wrong. You need to listen to me. And then you guide them out of, with no loss of life or taking no life, you guide them out of what would have been a horrific battle. And that's what you're here to do, is to use all that divine right feminine that you feel so strongly in your heart, and your Nordic Viking warrior goddess, I got the answer self, to begin speaking truth to power, my dear. Go for it, Janet. You've been touched.
Okay. Okay.
Report back.
I will.
Great.
I love it. I love it. And I don't know what that is, Janet, but it does look like a V on your chest, which is pretty interesting.
It's wings.
Oh, they.
It's her wings.
Is it wings?
Oh, beautiful.
They're,
Yeah, Beth. So Janet is an absolutely extraordinary artist when it comes to making jewelry. So that's
Is
what
that your
seeing.
jewelry on the
Yeah, that's her
background?
jewelry.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's absolutely amazing.
thank you, Brian.
Yes. Well, we could go on and on. Sorry, Russell?
I think Donna wanted to share.
Oh, I apologize. Donna, go ahead.
Just unmute.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, Janet, that necklace behind you looks like the horns that Beth was so beautifully describing. Just freeze frame this picture. Beth, thank you. That was really lovely. I really felt like I was going home. When I came into the meadow, I literally felt embraced by light. It was just a yummy. I always had this vision in my head when I was younger of how I wanted to live with my family on a big meadow with a lake, and saw my little grandkids running around before they were born. Got 8 of them now and they're grown, so that didn't happen. Wow. But that meadow felt like that. And when I came back and opened my eyes, what I experienced was a frequency charge in my system, my body. I felt the frequency moving, and the light was really, I don't even say delicate, but strong. So thank you. That was really a joy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that heartfelt expression of what you experienced. In the meadow, as I see it, when you enter this way, the circle is not quite in the center of the clearing, but mostly. And then all the way over on the other side is a brown building. And then the beach path is past that. That brown building has a screen, a movie screen in it that you can go inside and sit in the chair and pull the screen down. And did you say you're very visual?
I am visual, yes.
Yeah, do this, and anyone else can try it, but if it'll be a little more challenging if you're not a visual person. Go in there, pull the screen down, and start asking the questions of your higher self, God, Archangel Michael, whoever you want to talk to, even ancestors who have crossed over, and then wait for the answers to appear on the screen, because they will. Be patient. You know, again, we're the participants, not the directors. And we do have to trust and surrender, but there are great answers for you in that viewing room in the little brown house by the beach.
Thank you. I'll have a visit.
Yeah, and let me know. Email me and let me know what you experienced.
Thanks.
I love it. Thank you, Donna. Well, we could go on, and we could go on, and that would be beautiful. But for the sake of time and being human today, we'll wrap up. And we did have a short good news video, but honestly, I think we're good news enough. I just feel that the energy right now is perfect, whole, and complete. And Beth, you have been an incredible guide and just extraordinary. And please, everybody, just know the depth of all of our gratitude for each other, that we created this space together, that we connected, created, collaborated. And what we did today is so important. It is not small, it is big, it is extraordinary, and share it. And
That's right.
be your best self. Walk out, give someone a hug, hold a door for somebody. Tell someone they look beautiful, tell someone they have a big smile, because people are looking for that, and you have no idea what that one sentence or what that one move could do for someone. And thank you for sharing in this moment together. Have a blessed day. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Beth. Thank you all.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Beth.
Thanks for having me.
everybody.
Beth.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.